You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
When Mike McDaniel became coach of the Miami Dolphins, he said, check your pulse. And, Dolphins fans have been saying it ever since. I don't think Dolphins fans, myself included, realised when he said check your pulse, he literally meant check your pulse at the end of games because your heart rate is going to skyrocket because the Dolphins are going to be in close games.
That's the thing, Kadeem. You didn't believe it. Like, you didn't believe the check your post thing was a thing. Like, everybody else was on the post check. Shout out to same old Dolphins talking about post check. Like, bro, how's that post doing, bro?
I was literally hiding behind my sofa. I think my heart rate was up to 117. About someone messaged me saying theirs was 120, all because the Dolphins are 3-0. The Dolphins have beat the Buffalo Bills for the first time since 2018. The first time at Hard Rock Stadium or at home since something like 1997. And yeah.
No. That can't be right. The last time we beat them, we were at home.
I saw something like the Dolphins haven't beat the Bills definitely since 2018, but also since like 1997. And given that we were at home, I can't imagine it was, I'll double check that fact. But Charlie, how are you?
It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. I got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Without further ado. Woo, that victory visor feels so good right now, boy. Hey, the victory visor has made its third appearance in 3 weeks. In as many weeks, the victory visor is back on deck. Gotta love it. Kadeem, bro. Listen, I don't understand, man. It's a lot of stuff that I don't understand. This was a hard-fought football game, bro. This was a team win. The same way if Buffalo would have came back and ended us, it would have been a team loss. But we won. Not only did we win, Kadeem, you couldn't ask for, I don't want to say a better performance, but you couldn't ask for like a better outcome, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's cramping. Everybody's losing bodies on both sides of the field. The announcers can't even keep up with all the substitutions because people are going out right and left, bro. Like when you mentioned check your post, and I'm thinking the same thing. I'm like, post check, baby. Post check. If y'all not excited right now, I don't know when there is a time to get excited. You know what I'm saying, bro? And I don't even know where I want to start because so many good things happen in the game and outside of the game and in my phone and stuff like that. But listen, not only are we 3-0, Kadeem, we beat 3 good teams. Not only did we beat 3 good teams, Kadeem, we beat 3 good coaches. You feel me? And this has nothing to do. This has nothing to do with a narrative of Tua this and Tua that. It's like, listen, for everyone who thought, well, oh, Tua ain't it, he can't do X, Y, and Z. I don't even got to entertain y'all no more. But it's funny how Belichick respect Tua, Harbaugh respect Tua, McDermott respect Tua, Diggs, Josh Allen, and Von Miller, not on Tua, but also alluded to, hey, Miami a real team down there. This is probably the toughest match we got all season. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen said some stuff even more than that. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny how Dolphin fans will not acknowledge that we have our franchise quarterback. Cool, this ain't go time Tua, but whatever. Y'all boys just missed the bus. You know what I'm saying? Y'all could have been y'all tardy for the party. You feel me? But it is what it is. Now, my thing is, Kadeem, they had the time of possession battle, the Bills. And then they also had 495 yards total and still lost. Bro, you can't. You if someone told me that, it's like, dang, that's crazy. So I'm gonna let you go. I don't want to run too long. And I find it wild how I thought the Dolphins were gonna try to run the ball longer so we could draw the game out, so we could minimize possessions, so it could be like more gritty. And Buffalo came out doing it instead. That lets me know that when I said respect, now I want to be very clear. They don't fear Tua, like, oh, we can't let Tua beat us. Not like that. But they definitely respect them, because that's what you do to good quarterbacks. Like, hey, we're gonna keep them on the sideline. 30 minutes on the sideline twice in one game. How is that even possible? You know what I'm saying? Real time. You feel me? So to acknowledge that, I think it's time to like, hey, we got a dude. We've been had a dude, but me and you knew we had a dude, but everybody else didn't know we had a dude. And it's not about our dude, but it's just about the product that we're putting on the field.
So just to clarify, it wasn't that the Dolphins hadn't beaten the Bills at home since 2018, or so in 1997. The Dolphins hadn't won in Baltimore since 1997. So to further go on from what you said, Mike McDaniel in his first 3 games as an NFL head coach has done something that the Dolphins haven't done in nearly 30 years, basically. Not since I was 7, and then haven't beaten the Bills at the moment own the Dolphins. Like, to me, I don't think you could put it any other way. Like, even heading into this game with all the injuries that the Bills players had, me and you were kind of like, this isn't an easy game for Miami, simply because we couldn't work out how you stop Josh Allen. And the amount of times on 3rd down, Josh Allen scrambled or made a play was like, dude, you are killing us. But I don't know if it's a matter of today we're just meant to be the Dolphins' day. If you look like, obviously Bills fans are upset, they're in their feelings, all that kind of stuff. They've said, well, Josh Allen should have had that touchdown right at the end. Matt Milano dropped a pick 6. We had all these injuries, all that kind of stuff. The Dolphins had injuries as well. Xavier Howard came out of the game. Robert Hunt came out of the game for a little bit.
Bro,
Greg,
everybody had injuries, bro. Like, we didn't have Byron Jones, we didn't have Austin Jackson, we didn't have Raekwon Davis. Those are 3 starters. Yeah, I understand the Bills had multiple players out on defense. I'm not saying we beat a healthy Bills team, but I'm also not saying that we were healthy though. Like, this is the nature of the business. We were not healthy, they were not healthy, and I would be foolish if I sat here and said, oh, we beat the Bills, we're gonna beat them again, or we're gonna see the Bills 2 more times this year. I am sure of it. And I really don't want to see the Bills 2 more times. I'm being real. I don't want to see the Bills twice. 2 more times this year. I'm hoping we could get our allotted 1 more game in, and then someone else can handle the Bills for us, so we could coast for the rest of the playoffs. Like, that's what I hope. You know what I'm saying? But that's not realistic. You have to acknowledge the team that is the Buffalo Bills, and we got the dub. We won 20. Miami Dolphins defeat the Buffalo Bills 21-19 in Hard Rock Stadium. If you're 8 minutes into the podcast and don't know what's going on yet.
Yeah, it generally was a crazy game. This is one of those games, one of those podcasts where we can go for hours talking about all the different things. We're gonna miss so much stuff. But you said how. So I want to kind of question you on 2 things. One, you said that the Dolphins have played 3 good teams. I want to hit back and say they played 2.5 good teams. The Patriots are no longer, in my opinion, a good team. And even you've kind of said, without Bill Belichick, we're looking at the Patriots like we look at the Jets. The fact that Bill Belichick is getting, I guess, what's left out of this Patriots team is one thing. But on paper, the Dolphins, again, like you said, should be beating the Patriots, season in, season out. But Belichick will make it difficult. And yeah, the fact that so many teams, so many players who actually play in the NFL are respecting the Miami Dolphins. And yeah, I guess there's still that element that people aren't really scared of Tua per se. But when you've got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the field at any time, when it's 3rd and 22 and you're down 3, Jalen Waddle is going to say, "Do you know what? You can't guard me." Tyreek Hill is going to run a route to allow Jalen Waddle to get open open deep, and this whole surely the narrative has been put to bed now, but Tua can't throw deep, doesn't have the arm strength. that ball was as on the money as you can get. As Tua said in preseason,
It looked like money to me.
And even the touchdown throw to our boy Craycroft 4000.
Craycraft 400, man.
400, sorry. Again, I'm like, no, what after that touchdown throw, it got to 4,000. That was on a laser. That was on the money. Like, it's one of those things where what we're seeing from Mike McDaniel and his coaching staff is that they are empowering Tua. We all know, or we don't know, but we all have a very solid idea. Last season, 3rd and 22, even if we're down 3, what play are the Dolphins calling on 3rd and 22? Probably a bubble screen or something stupid. They're not saying to Tua, "Hey, can you at least test them deep?" Because in the NFL, wide receivers have most of the advantage. All it takes is a little touch, flag, pass interference.
I'm going to be real with you, Kadeem. Football 101 says 3rd and 8+, don't risk it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's football 101. This is not just, oh, your quarterback can't do it. There's very few quarterbacks, and it's not even a handful. It may be 3 quarterbacks on 3rd and longer than 8 that are really trying to get, oh, we're going for the sticks right now. So for the past 2 weeks, we've seen McDaniel 3rd and 9, 10, 11, 12. Today, it was 3rd and 22. For me, that 3rd and 22 bomb to Waddle, bombs over Baghdad. I'm just trying to tell you, right? That 3rd and 22 to Waddle, that was, well, if it gets picked off, it'll be like a punt. You see what I'm saying? It was like, let's throw it out there, see what happens.
Well, very quickly, I believe Tua said after the game, it was one of those plays again where if we get a certain look, we're going to go for it, and they clearly got a look, and that's what I meant by empowering Tua in terms of if you get a particular look, I don't mind you going downfield because I believe in you, and like you said, if it's intercepted, it's a punt. We might even get lucky and get a flag, but it's that empowerment as opposed to yes. Probably 99% of teams play it safe in that situation. But I also think that, especially with the past regime, they're playing it safe, and then they're generally, I don't even think that you can do it. Even if it's a punt situation where you throw it deep and it's like a punt, we're not even going to risk that because for whatever reason, we don't believe in you.
50 air yards, by the way, that pass, 50 air yards. And I wonder, I don't really wonder, but I kind of wonder what all those two naysayers were saying. Oh, he can't throw the deep ball. How many times did he throw the deep ball? Well, look what happened when he did throw the deep ball. I wonder what they're saying right now. I kind of don't really wonder. I'm just saying, if they did say something, what would they say now about these passes? Now, it'll probably be, oh, it was against a Ravens secondary. It was against a Buffalo secondary that was banged up. I'm like, but he made the throw, though. Y'all say he couldn't make the throw. You see what I'm saying? He can't throw deep. Matter of fact, Kadeem, and this is not a shout out Josh Allen, because I'm going to be real with you. Josh Allen was trash his first year. He was a bust. Like, oh, he's not going to make it. There's no way this dude turns it around. Same thing with Lamar Jackson with passing. He was still running, which is a different thing. But Josh Allen, I don't know if anyone's seen this turnaround coming with Josh Allen from bust to MVP candidate. I don't know if anyone's seen that within the years. That being said, all we heard, Kadeem, especially from Colin the Clown, he's not Herbert. He's not 6'10". He's not 7 foot. He can't even see over the line. If I can't see you, you can't see me. You got to get somewhere. And they're making fun of it. You feel me? He's not Burrow. He's not He doesn't have the arm of Josh Allen. That's all we heard, Kadeem. He don't have Josh Allen's arm. But guess what? Josh Allen skipped the pass on a 5-yard line to win the game. And what? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not saying Josh Allen is trash, but I'm saying, bro, like when you have a quarterback, he didn't make it to the NFL based solely on his height, solely on his arm strength. There are intangibles that make up an NFL player, and you take your intangibles and you use them to your strengths as your strengths, or you use your strengths and let them make you successful. You feel me? Excuse me. But man, look, bro, we 3-0, man. I don't want to say I'm surprised because I'm not surprised. I just thought I knew this Bills game was going to be a hurdle for us. You know what I'm saying? I predicted we're going 14-3. Do I think we're going 15-2 now? No, not really. But I do feel good about a lot of things right now. Go ahead, Kadeem.
Yeah, definitely. Again, shout out to Say My Dolphins. I'm a believer that until you exercise some of the demons of the past, it's still the same old Dolphins. So we weren't the most confident that the Dolphins were going to beat the Bills. Did we think it could happen? Yeah, of course. Any given Sunday, you never know what can happen. But we were kind of like, things need to go our way to win. What I'll also say is that, like you said, are the Dolphins going to go 15-2? It's not us being negative, but it's more the Miami Dolphins over the past how many years will find a way to lose the game where they should have won. So you beat the Bills. No one expects you to do that. Well done, great. Down the line, don't do something where you're fully healthy. The other team playing a backup, even first string quarterback, and you lose that game. But that's further down the line.
No, being real, just realistic. I only seen the Dolphins losing to the Bills twice and the Chargers. That Chargers game is an away game in California after a away game in San Francisco. So you're in California 2 weeks in a row. You don't come home, and then you go to Buffalo. So I seen I seen Miami smacking San Fran as always, and I seen Buffalo beating us twice, and I seen the Chargers lost. Here's the thing: just because I seen that doesn't mean we just didn't have a battle and everyone's cramping. And this took all the guts and glory, blood, sweat, and tears, and Tua to look like the Undertaker and come back and lead us to victory. And we're going to go into the Bengals home on a short week after we've been banged up and smack them around. I don't think that. This is a very good week where you can take an L all of a sudden, like, dang, I thought we were supposed to beat the Bengals. I think we're supposed to beat the Bengals. But if we lose to the Bengals in a 17-16 loss at Cincinnati on a short week, I can understand that. You see what I'm saying? So just because I say we're not supposed to lose this and we're supposed to win that, yeah, and then the Dolphins might dolphin in there and mess around and lose. I would say to the Jets, but I already got money on the Jets losing the next 9 more games against the Dolphins anyway. So I got to pick a different team. Anyway, for all of our longtime listeners, we have shout out to Rado the Boss. I think his name Rado the Boss. If that's not your name, bro, I'm going to get your name right. But you know how we said friends of the podcast? And we're like, oh, we can't call friends of the podcast. So we could call them GTD affiliates. Hey, GTD affiliates, right? So one of our affiliates that come on the podcast all the time, if you're a longtime listener, you know who Share Ride Steve is. All right. So Share Ride Steve is a GTD affiliate. He comes on all the time, chops it up with us, all the good stuff. He was in my phone actually a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't want to give him the time of day because, like, yeah, I got to get back on the podcast. Well, Share Ride Steve, enjoy your time off right now because we living it up, and I don't really feel like going at your head right now. I want to enjoy this a little bit. So we'll get you on the podcast a little, yeah, like a week or two. After we smack around the kittens, you know what I'm saying? Then I could bring you back on the podcast. But listen, Share Steve texted me today, pregame, a picture of Share Ride Mini For everyone who doesn't know, Sherrod Steve had a baby. While we already had this podcast, this how long this podcast has been going on. This is the 3rd season. And for those who don't know, I met Sherrod Steve while I was ride sharing. And that's why we call him Sherrod Steve. I was the driver. We became good friends. Turns out he's a Dolphin fan. We had a 45-minute trip to the airport. Turns out we like, dog, but I need your number. Next thing you know, he's getting on the podcast all the time. Shout out to my dog, Sherrod Steve. And if I'm just being a little bit more transparent, I would say the only time I ever cried on this podcast, but I just had to share a couple last week. But the first time I ever cried on this podcast is when Sherrod Steve had his baby, Sherrod Mini. I'm like, dang, that's a beautiful thing. You feel me? Like, look at this Dolphin relationship just blossoming. So Sherrod Steve texts me and says, he sends me a picture of Sherrod Mini in a Tua shirt. You know what I'm saying? Sherrod Mini has on a Tua shirt pregame. He says, let's get it. I'm like, that's what's up. Let's go. Post-game, Sherrod Steve sends me a video of Sherrod Mini taking his first steps in the Tua shirt after a Dolphins win versus the Bills. You feel me? You gotta love that, man. Shout out to Sherrod Steve, bro. Congratulations, man. Live it up.
Yeah, Sherrod Steve, like, you might want to start hiding everything now, because once kids start walking, that's it. They grab everything. If you've got a Merino jersey or something which you don't want him to grab, put it out, get out of the way. In terms of walking, talk me through your feeling when Matt Milano pushed Tua falls back, bangs his head, gets up, and looks like he just had 10 rounds with Mike Tyson. Because I was there just like, don't do this. Don't do this. Like, it's a close game. We're driving down the field. Tua, all right, don't do this.
So, and I'll come out and say this first, and not to minimize the severity of this play. But the pick of the week was the Touche's easy money pick of the week was Tua over 1.5 touchdowns. I'm like, dang, I'm not gonna get my 1.5. The dog is out. He gonna mess up my percentage. You feel me? But no. But I was legitimately concerned. Like, I'm dead serious. I threw a joke, but I'm like, dang, this is not good. Tua was dealing, bro. And I don't even go on Twitter much. I don't go on Twitter much, Kadeem. And when I do go on Twitter, it's only to entertain Dolphin stuff. And I really don't go on Twitter during the game at all. It's just too much stuff over there, right? So here I go. I go on Twitter while it's tied up. It's 14-14. And I'm like, yo, Tua out here dealing like he working at the casino. And Gambit. I had Gambit throwing cards. Gotta love it. And Tua was 8 for 10. He threw a touchdown. It's 14-14. The Dolphins are about to go on a halftime drive, meaning we're going to take this possession into the half. We're going to go up what I would hope to be 7, but I'll just say we're going to score before the half, and we get the ball back. We have a chance to double dip. We're not double dipping chips. Don't double dip chips. Right, Kadeem? We co-sign. No double dipping chips.
Of course not. Never.
But we have a chance to double dip, score before the half, and then come back and get the ball back. I was sold, Kadeem, that we were going to score before the half with Tua out. I'm like, Tua's going to drive down here. We're going to score, and we're going to get the ball back. We're going to be in a comfortable position coming out at halftime. Then that happened. I'm like, this is bad. This is really, really bad. I thought it was a concussion. I'm like, yo, it looked so bad. It looked like he hit his head and he was concussed. And even in martial arts and mixed martial arts and boxing, you're not allowed to hit this piece in the back of your head. And that's what it looked like he hit. Even in the most brutal sports of fighting, you can't hit that part of the head. And that's the part of the head it looked like he hit, which he actually did. Turns out that it was not a concussion. And I'm like, I don't know what test he had to pass in the locker room, but peek behind the curtain, like my dog Kadeem says, we have a group chat with myself, Kadeem, DraftKings Jason, and Lee from Dolphin UK, the official Miami Dolphin podcast. Shout out to them boys. And we just chop it up. And everybody was like, "Hey, you think he's coming back?" And I think he's out. And I think you said he was done. You thought he was like, "Yeah, he's out for sure." And I said,
100%.
he's coming back. And in another group chat, I'm like, "Of course he's coming back. He's Tua." That's what I said. But and then the Undertaker meme comes up, and he comes back from the dead, and Tua comes back. But I thought for sure we were in trouble because as much as people want to call for Teddy Two Gloves, and as much as we love Teddy Two Gloves on this podcast, Tua is in a groove right now, bro. Regardless of what anyone wants to say, bro. Like, it's funny how Dolphin fans will not acknowledge how good Tua is playing right now. But coaches from the other teams acknowledge it. His peers acknowledge it. The other team players acknowledge it. Like, bro, why can't the non-believers see this? You know what I'm saying? So I thought we were in trouble, although Teddy Two Gloves came in. And I'm like, yo, I like Teddy. But I need to see Tua out there against the Bills, not Teddy against the Bills. You feel me? What did you think?
For me, it was more a case of we saw the replay of him hitting his head, and he gets up and he's dazed. He looks like, boxer fighting drunk or boxing drunk, whatever you call it. So I'm like, this is a clear concussion. Like, this is the most concussed you can get without being knocked out cold. The guy is concussed.
For sure.
So again, peek behind the curtain, halftime, I run upstairs, got to do some stuff. Run back downstairs, and I've missed the start of the second half. I'm like, okay, cool. Dolphins, Bills got the ball back. So I'm thinking Dolphins are going 3 and out because it's Teddy Bridgewater. So when I see Tua on the sideline, I'm like, okay, what did I miss? Like, this must be some. And I had my son this weekend, and my son now likes Dragon Ball Z, so watching Dragon Ball Z. I'm thinking, this is some Dragon Ball Z senzu bean stuff. Like, eating senzu bean, he's ready to go. I'm like, dude, the guy's concussed. What is it? Tua says after that, on a sneak, someone was on his leg and kind of like half extended his back.
Quarterback
And
sneak.
then, yeah. And then after half extending his back, and Matt Milano pushed him, hit his back. That's basically why he was so dazed, so groggy. The NFL have confirmed that they're looking into the concussion protocol because, again, from the outside looking in, no one can understand how Tua was allowed back in that game. But I was talking to my friend James Drake, aka Drakey, who's a brand new Miami Dolphins fan, and he was like, "What have you got me into? Like, I can't take these close games." And he obviously doesn't quite understand how serious the NFL takes concussions. And I was saying, there's no way, not just the Miami Dolphins, but the NFL will allow Tua to get back into the game if he's suffered a concussion. Like, you can't fake those tests. You can't fake the answers. So, listen, the league have already punished the Dolphins once this season. The Dolphins are just handing out L's to anyone that tries to stop them. The Dolphins are going to hand out an L to the NFL because, again, I can't imagine if he had a concussion, he would have passed that test and been allowed back in the game. Like, to me, it's a very suspect reason. No, like, again, you haven't done your homework. You go to school, I don't get the homework. And teacher's like, yeah, really? Like, I wasn't born yesterday.
Yeah.
And the same way as this, like, your back hurts and it made you dizzy. But listen, weirder things have happened. Same
So
way.
Kadeem over here recruiting Dolphin fans. And my last time in London, matter of fact, almost a year. I think 2 weeks from now will be exactly a year from the last time I was in London. I had an Uber driver drop me off to the airport, and I had my Dolphins hat on. And the Uber driver asked me when we got there, I think he was from Amsterdam. And dog got a thick accent. He's like, "Can I have your hat? I like your team. I like the team. Can I have the hat?" I'm like, "Bro, you sure you want this hat, bro? You sure this is the team? You sure this is the team that you want to start liking, bro?" You know what I'm saying? And I kind of didn't want to give him the hat because, we had just lost to Jacksonville. I'm like, "Bro, I don't know if you know what you're getting yourself into when you take this hat and you become a Dolphins fan." You know what I'm saying? Like your homie said. But I'm like, "Yeah, man, you can have a hat, bro. Welcome to the family. You feel me? But if you're gonna be up with us, you gotta be down with us. You know what I'm saying? And we up right now. Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. Charlie Touche, Kadeem Simmons, for the fans, by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Kadeem, bro, we asked each other. We thought the Dolphins would lose this game for sure. That's not a stretch. You know what I'm saying? And then we asked each other, if the Dolphins won, what would the score be? I can't remember my score, but I thought it was a 3-point victory. I said if the Dolphins won. And I said it would be when the Bills are coming back with the ball last, and like it's gonna be, this is for the game. The Bills have the ball at 4 minutes, and they milk the clock in the fourth quarter, almost to where it gets down to the 2-minute warning. Now they just handed it off. It looks like they're gonna score. They're inside our 5, and they can't get in the box. And I'm not on Twitter, but shout out to LB GTD affiliate is on Twitter heavy. Everybody on Twitter saying the number one thing that I hate this. I hate this with a passion, Kadeem. Do you know what it is?
Is it bend, don't break?
Let them score.
Oh, why?
Just let them score. Just let them score so we can get the ball back, so we can save the time, so we can have more. Bro, go on the other team. You're not on our team. We're not letting them score, bro. We're not letting them in. We're not letting them in the box, bro. Can you imagine? I don't even want to say this team's name, but if that team in the Super Bowl didn't pick that last pass off in the Super Bowl, if they would have just let them in, bro, no, we're not letting nobody in the box, bro. We're not letting no one in, bro. That's it. But listen, man. Bills driving. We get the ball back, and we can't even get off the 1-yard line. We punt it. You need 15 yards to punt. We only got 9 and a foot. What did you think when they blocked that punt, Kadeem?
The one, they didn't even block it in the first place. But 2, I was just like, same old Dolphins. Like, so I was watching the game with Hannah Montana, and I was trying to explain to her that
Hannah Montana.
So the commentators were saying, do the Dolphins just take a safety to give themselves the room to kick a punt? But if they take the safety, if they kick the punt, the Bills only need to get into field goal range. And yes, the Bills kicker missed a point earlier on. However, again, the way the Bills are set up with Josh Allen, you do not want to give him any time to drive down the field to get into field goal range. So I'm like, just punt it away. Then there's blocks, and I was like, oh my days. Like, again, like, why are we doing this? I'm pacing up and down the kitchen. My mom was looking at me going, Kadeem, what are you doing? I'm like, don't talk to me right now. I'm telling people to shut up because, like, I'm losing it. My heart's racing. And, yeah, Tyreek Hill's got jokes. He said after that, next time it happened, Trent Sherfield's going to clench the ball in his buttocks because he's got really strong buttocks. I'm like, how about we just don't do it again? How about we don't kick the ball up other guys' backsides? How about we just don't do that? So yeah, we made it a closer game. And like you, I said that if the Dolphins did win, it would be by a 1-score game, and they wouldn't, basically have another walk-off touchdown like they did last week. The Bulls would drive down the field, and it's going to be a defensive stop, basically, which basically ended up happening.
Yeah, so I do want to clear something up. Tua did not get a concussion, and what happened was, because we didn't really clear it up, so we're gonna clear it up. There was a quarterback sneak. Tua went in on a quarterback sneak, and he got hurt in the scrum of the quarterback sneak. He got hyperextended, like Kadeem said. Back got bent the wrong way, and he said that's when he hurt his back. When it happened, I seen him on the floor. When it happened, the sneak happened. I'm like, oh, Tua's hurt. And then they didn't show him, or they didn't show it. I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's not as hurt as it looked. And if you guys remember, Patrick Mahomes dislocated his knee on the quarterback sneak. And, it's a lot of stuff that goes on down there. So then when he got pushed and landed what looked like on his head. He in the post game media, he said, "I landed on my back first. That's what I felt first, and then I felt my head." So it was a back injury, not a concussion, and that's why the NFL's like, "Oh, we're gonna look into that." Look like some what's going on here type of stuff was going on, but Kadeem, we got to fix the run game. We're not a running team. Everybody, the Dolphins could be run first because they don't trust their quarterback, and he's just a game manager, and he's going to hand off the ball 40 times a game. We're not even a running team. Not only not run first, we're not even a running team. So we could throw all that stuff out the window. It would be nice when we get an actual line and a running back now. Not a running back, just a line that can run the ball. So, yeah, I like everything we got going on. That's not a shot at nobody or no unit, but we got to get better on the line. And we had so many holes in the past few years that we knew we had an uphill battle to climb.
Yeah, but I also think, with today, given obviously we had the majority of the starters, but even Teron Armstead, he's banged up. Friend of the podcast, Robert Hunt, he got hurt today. Greg Little got hurt, so he had, I think he had Lano Coleman come in and stuff like that. So it's not excuses, but and I also think even though the Bills had Ed Oliver and Jordan Phillips out, they've still got a good enough front seven in general that, Matt Milano was shooting gaps, making plays. Von Miller's still going to do Von Miller stuff. It's one of those things where I don't think the Dolphins have had a good enough matchup to really exploit the run game. That being said, you're not always going to get good enough matchups to exploit the run game. So, yeah, while I agree the run game needs to basically come alive at some point, I also think it's been a harder than we had imagined, start to the season, I guess.
Before we get into bonus time, something else you want to bring up?
No, I've just got something I want to bring up in bonus time.
Hey. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time.
Yo.
You put up 0-3. We're 3-0.
But I also know that it depends on how so to me, I'm saying 3-0.
Well, you're doing that to you. We're on camera though.
Yeah, but again, I done it. I was like, yeah. To me, I put up 3-0.
Right, for the audio listeners, Kadeem threw up our record, and he thought he was, with 3-0. Yeah, but it actually came out 0-3. Bro, you know who Dennis Rodman is?
The Chicago Bulls player, yeah. A former Chicago Bulls player. Yeah.
Christian Wilkins is the NFL's version of Dennis Rodman, bro. So I don't know what happened at the bottom of the pile.
I know exactly what happened.
Josh Allen got a personal foul and a 15-yard penalty, and it helped us out a lot, for real. And if you put 2 and 2 together, Christian Wilkins may have done some stuff and broke some man code somewhere. What you make of that?
So, first of the podcast, Jordan, my sister, her partner, Shaq, messaged me saying, Josh Allen, what's he doing? And I was like, given what we know about Christian Wilkins, he definitely did what Josh Allen basically accused him of doing. There's a really, really famous photo of 2 footballers, one called Vinnie Jones, another one called Paul Gascoigne. And it's basically Vinnie Jones getting way too handsy with Paul Gascoigne. And Gascoigne's face is because of the pain. I reckon Christian Wilkins was... and you've seen Christian Wilkins in his time in Miami just be the most annoying person. He loves to jaw jack, but he also loves to just do annoying things like pull the towel off, off players when they're running and stuff like that. And listen, you know how much I love Christian Wilkins. He's a fun dude, and he's one of those guys where you want him on your team because if you're playing against him, by the end of the game, you're going to either punch him or yank his helmet off. So, listen, if it works, it works. Another thing from me, I've interviewed Dolphins players before Friend of the Podcast, Javon Holland, and I hope we'll be doing it after Friend of the Podcast, Javon Holland. I think I love that guy more than I love my son. I said to Hannah Montana, like when he nearly got the interception at the end of the game, I said to Hannah Montana, if he called that, I'm naming my next son Javon. It's happening. Like, I'm telling you now, this guy is an absolute dude. From the forced fumble at the start to some of the pass breakups to nearly getting interception.
Kadeem, you can reverse the curse, the Kadeem curse. If you name your next son Javon, you can reverse the curse, bro.
I'm telling you now, yeah. I'm a principled guy. I don't like admitting I'm wrong or even saying that I'm wrong. I stand by my beliefs. If friend of the podcast, Javon Holland, said to me right now, what do you think of One Piece? I say it's the best thing in the whole entire world. Listen, I think One Piece is trash, but for him, it will be the best thing in the whole entire world. You think I can upset friend of the podcast, Javon Holland?
Bro, you done slurping, Kadeem?
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
I'm done, man. I'm done. Get me out of here, man.
This guy, like, he's just.
Hey, listen.
Hollywood Von.
Listen, man. In relationships, because we liken this podcast to relationships compared to women we used to date and dating the Dolphins. And I told everybody this, and I'll end with this. It's okay to to believe in the Dolphins now. The Dolphins let me down so many times, and I got PTSD. Like, listen, this is not them. This is a whole new Dolphins team. And I told y'all we're good now. Drink the Kool-Aid, put on the dolphin-colored sunglasses. You feel me? We're here. This is a whole new team, whole new franchise, kind of, and we're moving forward. But to all the Tua doubters, Kadeem, it's crazy how Tua went down, and everyone thought, dang, we need Tua back. It's crazy how that works. You know what I'm saying? And for me, Kadeem, in a relationship, I learned this. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of us listening to this podcast had someone they dated that didn't appreciate you. And there's a quote that says, if they don't appreciate your presence, make them appreciate your absence. And although Tua got hurt and we didn't want to see him get hurt and he was gone for a little bit, that was enough for, I hope, for people to be like, dang, we actually do need Tua. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at. 3-0. We out here.
Oopsie.